Good morning, everyone. So we've come down to Jelutong Market. It's a very, very local spot. I don't think many people know about this, but it is a very inspiring place. There's a lot of good food about. It's currently 8 a.m. We got here about 7:30. The light is kind of coming through and shining down the street. There's a lot of activity. It closes in probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours or so. And I'm loving it. Malaysia is just beautiful. It was photogenic everywhere. So I have just found this spot by, I guess like the main road that leads into the market. I'm shooting directly into the sunlight. It is also kind of overcast in that direction, so it's pretty white sky, but it's creating this nice sort of like faded, natural approach to the images, and I'm just catching some of the subjects. And of course I'm shooting with the Fujifilm X-H1, and I got my 50mm f2 on here today, just because I want a little bit of depth and a little bit of sort of significance to the images, and I'm shooting quite often wide at around 3.2 aperture. So as a market, this place is kind of selling, oh, hold on, we got a dirty lens, all bits of everything. We've got fruit and veg, we got like meats and things, we've got flowers, there's spices, clothing, kind of everything you would need in life, I guess, is here in this market. So we're kind of like capturing all activity everywhere. I'm also actually really enjoying shooting direct into the sunlight. It's kind of I guess like a nice sort of like aesthetic to it. I don't always shoot direct into sunlight, and I am getting some flares across the images, but I think it's kind of adding a little bit of a natural vibe to things, which is quite nice and quite aesthetic, I guess. I'm really enjoying that, I guess, because we are at early morning. We've got that low lights just kind of like coming across the scene. Everyone's got nice sort of soft shadows. It really pays to shoot at the right time rather than just going to certain locations. Everyone's also ducking behind and the camera is clearly pointing at me. Why does that happen around the world? By the way, since we've been in Malaysia, I've been testing a new audio setup on this camera, so I want to know what your thoughts are on this. Do things sound kind of better, clearer? I know this is a very noisy and busy location, but I'm now using a Sennheiser AVX, and you can see the microphone just kind of tucked in there. I'm just using some fabric plaster, and that's kind of like holding it in place. I do still have the Rode mic on top because I'm getting ambient audio, but the nice thing with the Sennheiser AVX is that the receiver is tiny. Like, it is a very small thing that I can just clip onto the side of the camera, no problem at all. Doesn't really add much weight. And then the transmitter is just in my back pocket. And then I just turn it on and off when I'm doing the vlogging. So in this scenario, I'm gonna be here for like an hour or two, so I'll just leave it on, leave it running, and then just let the batteries recharge. Otherwise, you could probably get about 8 hours of use in a day. So if you're doing a full daily vlog, you probably want to turn it on and off in between stuff. But I'm just testing it out, so I'm interested to know what your thoughts are on the audio. Now, we've been in Penang for about 5 days or so now, and I've really enjoyed it. I think I'm really loving the sort of local vibe that is just kind of everywhere. Like it's like a typical Asian destination in many ways, that, you know, people just go about their own day and they make stuff happen. They just do things that they need to get done. It's kind of a weird concept, but I think if you've been to Asia, you'll understand what I mean, that there is this can-do attitude about things. Like, if people want to build something, they build it. If they want to strap something to their bike, they do it. And I saw something last night that was really interesting, was where they do the deliveries on the mopeds, they have these little poles that they've rigged to the side, and as soon as they park up, they just drop the poles, and then the bike stands up, and therefore your cargo on the back doesn't just like rock over and knock everything off. It's just so like can-do about things. I love it. Now we are going to be heading to Kuala Lumpur tomorrow. By the time you're watching this, I imagine this is long gone. So I'm interested to see what Kuala Lumpur's like. I think it's going to be more of a very much urban city vibe rather than this sort of like local Asian vibe that we're getting in Penang. But if you are coming to Malaysia, I would highly recommend coming to Penang. It's very enjoyable, very photogenic. It's so good.